You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
It is Thursday morning.
It's almost Christmas.
Almost Christmas.
Almost.
Almost Friday, too.
Oh, good.
Isn't it nice
Friday.
we have a Friday and then we come back for a Monday.
Yeah, right.
And then the rest of the world, some people get to take off on Christmas Eve, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's almost Christmas week.
I know. I'm really excited.
And we have a really good story to share with you today. I'm excited to share a story with you from our friends at Lutheran Church Extension Fund. Excited to talk about how as an investor you make a difference and what difference that makes for so many ministries, churches, schools, all kinds of ministries. So we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us in the studio, Sharon Bollinger. She's the Director of Customer Relations and Strategy for the Lutheran Church Extension Fund. Sharon, thank you so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
Thank you so much for having me.
We always love having our friends from LCEF join us in studio. Always good conversation. And it's always helpful, too, to learn more about what it means to be an LCEF investor. I'm an investor. Our son is an investor. Our whole household is our LCEF investors. So
we are too.
You are too. Okay, that's
Thank
good.
you.
So happy to be LCEF investors, as well as beneficiary of some of the services that we'll talk about today as well. Got to use the roster church worker loan, the home loan,
yes.
when I was just a young church worker. But now that I'm an older church worker. Those days are gone. So Sharon, tell us. Let's talk about LCEF and what is LCEF, and let's just talk about LCEF. Share us your story.
Sure. So Lutheran Church Extension Fund, I think, is one of the best kept secrets of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. We offer competitive interest rates for our investors while providing low interest rate loans for our borrowers. We are a financial institution for the LCMS. I've worked at LCF for over 25 years, and I believe in the ministry, and that's why it's been so important to me in my life.
What do you love about working at LCEF? What gets you going about this job, about what you get to do every day?
I love helping people. I love helping them solve their problems, come up with interesting solutions to whatever, if it's an investment or a loan question, or even if it's something out of our realm, we try to find the answer for them.
So you're a problem solver, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That sounds really fun. I problem solving is fun. That's a fun job to have to do. And to help people through all these questions that they have, especially in investment and loan. I am not a money person, so I think you would be.
So you don't use money?
I don't. Numbers. Money involves numbers, and I don't do numbers. I do use money, though. You would be a good person for me to bring my questions to. It sounds like.
I would hope I would have all the answers for you. I think that's probably the most important thing. Is we are a live answer at Lutheran Church Extension Fund. So when you call our 800 number, you get to speak to a live person that will answer all your questions. And if they don't know the answer, they will find out the answer and get back with you quickly and efficiently. We walk through all different problem-solving opportunities every day.
So let's talk about investments. We were talking about being investors. How do these loans happen with the investors? What is that relationship?
So basically, a lot of our loans are created through the district office, the DVPs. They start the loan processes. We make loans to LCMS organizations, congregations, rostered church workers, Andy, like yourself.
Right.
And this could be for new construction. It could be for repairs. It could, a home loan, like you said. And we offer line of credit.
So in order to be able to provide those loans to ministries, to congregations, to church workers, we need investors, too.
Absolutely. We need invested dollars to lend out to our loan customers. Right now, we are currently experiencing a very high loan demand. So we need invested dollars more than ever. We would never want to turn away a borrower because we didn't have the dollars to lend out.
You mentioned earlier that it being LCEF are real people. They're real people that talk to you on the phone, that answer the phone, answer the calls, and I can attest to that, having been not only an investor but also a borrower as well, a roster church worker, the home loan, and going through that process. I can't imagine what that would have been like going through a different lender for my home. So much so, like it was so painless going through. And have you probably haven't bought a home yet?
We have not bought a home yet, but we will be going to LCEF.
Going through the home buying process can be a bit exhausting.
Yes.
But going through that process as a borrower was so painless to the point that at closing, the company, oh goodness, it's been a while since I've done this. Title company, thank you.
There you go.
Title company said, I don't know who these Lutherans are, but they're the nicest people in the world, because they had worked with LCEF through this whole closing process and had such a great experience with LCEF when I was closing on my home in the past when I was a young church worker. So
We love to hear that.
Isn't that, I mean, doesn't that, I think that's proof to what you were saying, though. When you call LCEF, you actually, you do get to talk to a real person when you're trying to, solve a problem.
Exactly.
So let's talk about, as I mentioned, like going through the process, a home loan with someone else, and that being terrifying. Going through it with LCEF was a great experience. Let's talk about investing. We can invest somewhere else. We have lots of options in terms of places where we can invest. But the difference between investing in a bank and investing in LCEF. Let's talk about that difference.
So exactly. You can invest, with a bank, and the bank can choose what they use your money for, or you can invest with LCEF and you know exactly what we're using your money. We're building churches, or we are helping roster church workers or LCMS organizations. You're helping your church body when you invest with us, but you're earning a competitive rate of interest as well. So it just makes sense.
Absolutely. Is there always a need for investments?
Yes. Unlike a bank, we don't sell our loans. When LCF makes a loan, our money is tied up in that loan. When it's repaid, it's available for another loan. But those dollars could be tied up from 5 to 30 years. New investments means more money is available to, churches and church workers, LCMS organizations who need those funds for building or repairs or much needed upgrades.
I think this is really a big deal. Like when you have when you have choices about where you can make investments, yes, you can go to a commercial bank, you can go somewhere else. But the difference is when you invest in LCEF, that makes a difference for so many congregations, schools, organizations that LCMS organizations, churches, schools, individuals, roster church workers, that just makes a huge difference and an opportunity for them as well. I know our congregation has a loan with LCEF as well for a building project. And had we gone somewhere else, that it would not have gone as smoothly as it did with LCEF. And it makes a huge difference for us as a congregation to be able to carry out the ministry that we're given in our community, to carry out that word and sacrament ministry there, knowing that we have a partner like LCEF to help us through that as well. Let's talk about the types of investments. We've got a couple minutes here before we need to take a quick break. Let's talk about the types of investments.
Great. Well, we offer steward accounts, which are like money market type of accounts. We offer young investor accounts, like you said you had for your children. Mm-hmm. We have family emergency accounts, fixed and floating term notes, IRAs, and HSAs. We have a couple special accounts right now. For our new investors, we have a Connect Plus. We also have a special account for just new dollars called the Partner Plus. And then we have a jumbo account for large dollars. And all of these 3 accounts can earn you up to 3%, which is a great rate right now. We also have a new product called the Gold Tier Steward account.
So let's talk about the the gold tier. Let's talk about that.
This account is perfect for LCMS individuals, organizations, and congregations who want to earn a competitive rate on large dollars but still need access to their funds. The gold tier has 4 different investment levels, starting at $50,000 at 2.125 and going up to $500,000 at 2.5%.
Is that where you're going to start? Is the $500,000 level, Sarah?
That sounds about right. Yeah. It's a lot of zeros.
No, this is the gold tier. That makes sense especially for organizations or congregations who want to have access to that, but also still have a really competitive rate as well.
That's correct.
So we need to. Well, I want to ask more questions, but we need to let's go to a break before we dig in too much deeper. Let's do that, and then we'll learn more with Sharon Bollinger. She's Director of Customer Relations and Strategy at Lutheran Church Extension Fund. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
We'll be right back.
You're a miracle. You know that, right? A living, breathing, one-of-a-kind miracle. You were created to stand apart, to share your gifts in the service of others, to make an uncommon impact in a common world. And at Concordia University, it's our mission to help you do that, to live uncommon. To learn more about Concordia, go to cuw.edu.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
It is Thursday, December 19th. We are talking with our friends from Lutheran Church Extension Fund. Particularly today, we're talking with Sharon Bollinger, Director of Customer Relations and Strategy for the Lutheran Church Extension Fund. Did you notice in the notes that I left off the D, so it's Lutheran Church Extension Fund?
I know. Because it's so fun.
It is. Well, all the people we get to talk to from Lutheran Church Extension Fund are kind of fun. So
that's true.
That was just a little subliminal when I was typing the notes for that.
I think that's true.
We're talking with Sharon Bollinger. And before we went to the break, Sharon, we were talking about some of the investment opportunities. We talked about gold tier, which is great for organizations. But let's talk about some of the other investment opportunities for people like Sarah,
us.
I.
Sure.
Sarah, yeah, you mentioned a whole plethora of investment opportunities earlier, so let's dig into some of those.
Sure. I'll talk about 2. The Connect Plus. The Connect Plus is for brand new investors. It's a 2-year fixed term note at 3%. You can start this account with as little as $500, which is much more manageable. Yes. And the best part of this account is you can continue to make deposits into it during the term. Very popular for new customers. We also have a Partner Plus, and this is new dollars. It can be for new investors or existing investors. It just has to be new dollars. You can choose a 2-year at 2.5% or a 4-year at 3%. You can open the Partner Plus again with as little as $500, and you can continue to add throughout the term. We have something for everyone.
That is good to hear. That's a lot less zeros on the end of that initial minimum.
You can put as many zeros as you want after the decimal point.
Oh, hey, that's how math works. Tell me how these Connect Plus and Partner Plus, how are these beneficial to both someone like me or Andy who uses them, but also to the church at large that LCEF is serving?
Sure. Well, basically, I think the best part about these is that you can add to them. So, starting with $500, that's a small amount. You can invest and you can continue to save. So you can make $25 increment deposits. You can send checks in. You can make it electronically. We can set up ACH where we can pull from your account, things like that. So, I mean, it's a great way for people to start saving and for the future.
We even have the option here at the International Center, like that you can designate a portion of your direct deposit to go straight to your
That's really
LCEF
handy.
account. Isn't it though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it just
They
never
just forget about it.
Right, exactly.
You don't spend it on Christmas presents.
Isn't that smart? That's smart. So I'm sorry, Sharon, you were making another point, and I just interrupted with the direct deposit. Here's a handy tip: do direct deposit where you never ever you only see it on your stub. Then you have that savings for later.
That's right. Well, we were talking. I had a situation yesterday, and the Connect Plus is great because people that don't know about LCF, it's a great way for them to learn about LCF and feel comfortable with us. So it's a good segue into all different types of investments, but it's a good way for people to, it's a good rate. It starts them out, they can start small with $500. They can add to it. Actually, I had a conversation with a woman yesterday. She was actually just calling in because she wanted to make a donation to her church's loan. She wanted to make a principal payment to her church's loan before the end of the year. And her mother had passed away, and she asked for her children to give, part of their inheritance to, either their church or a ministry of their choice. So this woman wanted to give a specific dollar amount to her church and put it to the principal of their loan. So we were talking, and I was helping her through that process and how we could help her do that and get that accomplished. And I was telling her about the Connect Plus at the same time, and she was amazed that what a great rate it was. And she continued to tell me that her mother was an investor, and she was going to go ahead and open the Connect Plus, and she was amazed that I had the time, and I took the time to talk to her about it and walk her through the process, fill out the application for her, send it to her. So all she needs to do is sign it, make sure everything's correct, and send it in with a check. So, and she even mentioned that we are a diamond in the rough, that we would be so helpful to her. So that was a cute and sweet story, and hopefully she'll be an investor for a long time.
Indeed. And speaking about being an investor for a long time, I do have to go back to the young investors, Little Lambs. Well, let's see. I think he's out of the Little Lambs now. Our son is 6, so I think he's into the next stage. But he's a young investor, and we started that early on intentionally, so that that he would have this account to follow him through, and that also he's being a good steward. That's part of stewardship, is in investing in in LCEF, which supports so many LCMS ministries, and to be able to do that, thinking New Year right around the corner, this would be a good thing for so many families to consider for the new year. You start your young investor off, with this 2020. I know people are thinking about New Year's resolutions, that sort of thing. January would be a good time to do that, or even before January, start a Young Investors Club account for your kiddo. And then they can see that grow over time as well as they grow up as well. I just think it's a great thing. Everybody wins, because your kid then has an account, but also it's supporting so many ministries of the LCMS.
Absolutely. And up to $1,000, the interest rate is at 3.5%, which is an incredible rate. So like you said, you're teaching them stewardship, and they're also investing in a way that they're helping the church at the same time. So it's a win-win. We have a lot of grandparents that also contribute to the Young Investor account for their grandchildren. So that's awesome.
A good idea. I guess I should have told Grandma and Grandpa about that account too. Grandma and Grandpa, if you're listening, hope you are.
Now's the time.
No.
Please make deposits.
You can make I could send you the deposit information. Anybody else who would like the deposit information? I'm just saying, college is not that far away. Who can invest with LCEF?
Lutheran Church Missouri Synod members and people that are affiliated with the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. So it could be, if you're a member and your grandchild is not, we would still, if you're investing for them, that's fine. we would still accept that.
So if a member of an LCMS congregation or affiliated with an LCMS ministry, maybe you work for an LCMS school, and you want to be an LCEF member.
Yes, as long as you know that where your dollars are being invested. So you know that you're investing with, LCEF to support the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod.
How many people invest with LCEF?
We have over 61,000 investors right now, but we would love to see that number grow.
So January, December, either one works just fine. Become an LCEF investor. And does that number include, does that include my son too, since he's an investor?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So he is definitely one of the 61,000.
That is really cool. I would love to see that number grow too, just because of what you mentioned earlier, how much this supports so many LCMS. We have too many
acronyms that
too
start
many
with
T's.
L.
Yes. You mentioned Diamond in the Rough too. I want to mention that the magazine too, Interest Time, that we haven't really talked about today, but this comes out quarterly, I think.
Quarterly, yes.
So called Interest Time. What were you gonna? You look like you were ready to say something, Sarah.
It's just pretty. There's a lot of cool stories and pretty pictures.
Well, and if you check
those.
out the current issue, on the cover you'll find co-host of Wrestling with the Basics, Pastor Matt Clark.
It's true.
So you have to read the story. You have to get Interest Time. Now, if you're an investor, you get Interest Time. If you want to, check out investment or Interest Time, subliminal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Become an
it
investor. Go to lcef.org, right?
Yes.
And you can find it there.
Yes, and we will send it to you for free.
Very cool. So you can read the story about the one of the RSO's recognized service organizations that Pastor Clark is involved with at his congregation here in St. Louis. Check it out, Interest Time from LCEF. Very good.
Lots of stories in there.
This is true. Lots of good stories. Actually, what was it, 2 issues ago? There was the KFUO story in there as well.
Yes, our story was in there. Yeah.
Because we love partnering with LCEF.
It's true.
We're so grateful for the partnership. How do we find out more information about LCEF? And by all means, anything else you want to share about LCEF before we wrap up today?
Perfect. Yes. Well, you can check us out on the website at lcf.org, or you can call our customer relations team at 1-800-843-5233. The customer relations team is live from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, and they would be happy to talk with you about your investment options or answer any questions you might have. They're a bunch of wonderful ladies that would be happy to help you.
I wholeheartedly agree. One thing I want to clarify, sometimes, when we think about LCMS and organizations like this for the whole LCMS, sometimes people think, oh, that's only in St. Louis. But where is LCEF in reality? I mean, yes, there's an office here in St. Louis, but let's talk about where LCEF is and how people connect with, like congregations, that sort of thing, connect with LCEF.
So we have loans all over the world. So, and we have investors all over the United States. So, from Alaska to Hawaii to Florida, we have investors everywhere in the United States. So.
Yeah, when I applied for the home loan as a rostered church worker, I wasn't here. I was in Texas. So you can do that. Rostered church workers, there are a lot of places that rostered church workers can do that as well. Thank you so much for being our guest today and being on the coffee hour with us and sharing with us, and really, I think, bringing to light too how important it is as members, as members of LCMS to be investors with LCEF, how that supports LCMS ministries. Thank you so much, Sharon, for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a lot of fun. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@kfuo.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.